Geoscanner initialized.
Where are you coming from?
Changing max! No more distractions.
Alright, not bad. Could have been much worse.
It works.
Good, 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 good. And let's see anything. We're otherwise good. We'll come back and grab stuff, and then we'll get this factory rolling. But yeah, we'll be looking at seeing what we can get going on there. Hey, Stream Hub. All right. But yeah, we'll get stuff rolling. Need to get some balance built in now that we've expanded out a bit more. Let's see. Go ahead. Claim.
Another great day for science.
Alright, and then go grab those forageables quickly, and then we'll get back to the main factory and see what we can get rolling. The goal is going to be, we do have 5 customers. As the factory grows, we should be able to meet more supply and be able to use some of that buffer to help us take the hits. Oh, as the camera yells at me, let me go ahead and figure out why it did that. Hello. But then the trick will be, how do we balance about looking at 60 units a minute to 2 out of 5 customers and keep that line flexible to not have to go and start building a mega factory quite yet. We're still early game. Anything beyond just some basic manufacturers just going to be where we kill ourselves, and I'm not looking to pull from large inventories. Dedicated lines, and then just trying to generally keep things somewhat decently stacked. So we'll see where we get to from there. Alright, let's check this out. Alright, we'll come back to this, because we want to get the powder going, but we'll worry about that once we reevaluate how our layout is over here, because that's where I'm really kind of concerned right now. Because we've got a handful of items that are going to need some additional fabrication. We've got raw goods here on our side, but we'll need to expand that up. Let's go ahead and... Okay, just full outputs, which is fine. We expect full outputs in between production runs. Let's see what we need. So we are looking at ceramics, tubing, rotors. So let me write this down because my brain is just trash. Ceramics, tube, rotors, stabilizers, and last but not least, we're looking at choice between housing and titanium housing and heat resistant sheet. All right, and I believe we have some clearance we need to make on this. All right, let's double check our recipes. We are looking at being good. We're ready to get rotors, so we got rotors, we got blueprint tubes. Stabilizers need rotors, so that's a prerequisite alongside titanium housings, which I've not been making. So some prerequisites we need to build up. Go ahead and note that down. We're looking at, for the stabilizer, we need rotors. And we need titanium housings by 300. What else do we need? Because that's a future state, but we're going to need it, so we might as well get it going. And we need tube lines going as well. Looking at 600? 600. Furnace rise ceramics, we need calcite sheets. That's 600 of them. We're good on housing. We'll just drop our helium here. Heat resistant is going to take glass and titanium sheets. We have the titanium sheets, that's good to go. So we need to get helium and calcium powder. So we need, what is that, 21? So that's going to be 2066. And 600 calcium powder. All good. So that's easy to get sorted. So let's just start spinning those guys up. So first and foremost, calcite sheet is one that will be easy to get rolling in the backlog. Let's go ahead and clear that off. Because we were moving some items around. That said, deal with that later. Otherwise I'll get too much in the weeds.
I'm detecting increased Rupture activity. Prepare for a wave.
Alright, head on back to our other facility and then we'll be ready to go over there. Really should get the travel times noted between the facilities just for safety's sake. Otherwise, I'm going to be a fool who decides to try and run between facilities and get caught out in the storm. Alright. Let's see, we got Lems, War Bonds, Meteor Hearts, not necessarily worried about those outright. And then we're good on ammunition. So we'll get our calcite sheets and powder. We'll need to figure out next steps on helium.
Rupture's eruption has started. Prepare for impact.
Man, dude, that just reminds me of the old sandstorms that would come through growing up in Arizona.
Extreme temperature detected.
Perfect. Now I'm surprised, like, considering this is a consistent eruption and the amount of force and the burning, you would almost expect that the landscape would be more flat and barren in the scope of bits of debris being blown across and off the front faces of the hills here until it's a kind of flat landscape. But maybe it's some protection given by the local flora that keeps it from blown over too much. All right. We about ready here? No, we still hot AF. And there we go.
Planetary temperature returning to normal.
Perfect. Alright, let's go check this guy out. So we're essentially running an offset spine and feeding into the main lines here. Alright, so this is our calcium blocks. This should be feeding into our calcite sheets. We need to move this stuff around a little bit. I think I actually want to move these guys out a little bit further to mimic what I have across the way. Which, let me go double check what that width is. Because I do want to keep it as standardized as possible. Hey, look at that, Carablast in chat. Just because I'm a nerd and gotta have Pokemon in the background. Let me go ahead and, well, let me... So we are looking at, that's actually that's our in-feed. Then we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on our in-between, on our outfeeds over here. So we need to back those machines up. Oh yeah. So we're about half as far as we need here. So let's break it up. Now that was our, what are we looking at? That's fabricators, so we need to add in some forges, or rather furnaces. And we need that spacing of 6 units in between. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bring us down a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, up, as I move too far. 1, 2, 2, 3. Let's see, that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need 1 more over. 6. And we're offset.
Reloading.
Perfect. We'll go ahead and what we actually have to do is pull this guy across. Although it might change up a little bit in how we do our layouts, largely just because we're going to have to accommodate for future products on the ceramic side, so we might end up peeling one of these guys off in the future. The thought process being we want to try and keep it at least somewhat configured in respect to incoming product requirements. And I mean, we are running a pull system, but it does a pull based off it per stack, which I'm not quite sure yet if that makes things better or worse. Pull, of course, being unlike satisfactory or other factory sim games where your lines will fill up. This system actually waits for a call from downstream machinery to be able to build, which is a much better system, a much cleaner system, but also requires a little bit more thinking since we aren't just loading lines up individually. And I mean, functionally, we could start getting to a point where we design based off of single lines and line capacity, which gets into a much more interesting layout. And I mean, you could have individual factory changeovers. Then again, traditional playstyles in a lot of these games tend to be more geared towards bulk just-in-case inventories as opposed to changeovers within factories themselves. That being said, we do want to try and keep the ability to drop this stuff back into a line available to us. So we're probably going to be looking at moving some stuff around here. But we'll wait for that in the meantime. Actually, we want to be inset by 1. Perfect. This is calcite sheets. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll just merge in some lines here like we've been doing. But yeah, I do appreciate having an actual pull system. It does give us a lot more control functionally over how we end up doing things. It would be nice to be able to kind of come back to this and reimagine in scope of a system that operates such that we can have a single bus coming in versus individual factories. But at least in the scope of early game before we hit our first mega factory, not necessarily as heavy of a requirement. But in the meantime, I mean, current goal, that easy 60 units per minute target across 2 customers and being able to feed that dynamically to meet needs. I mean, as we get deeper into the logistics side of things, one of the big questions ends up later becoming for us, if we do build a larger mega factory, what does our demand logistics look like for that, for supplying? I mean, furthermore, as much as I could Google it, it's a lot more fun to figure it out. Like, do we get rail capacity upgrades beyond just the triple rail? And how do we design thoughtfully to keep that in mind as a future upgrade? Because the last thing you want is to build a factory that you can't continue to support moving forward. Alright, system is ready to feed. We'll go ahead and start getting that calcium powder rolling. And we should have a decent feed rate. That being said, I didn't check the per minute. So this is 1 unit a second. so we can pull effectively. So it's uses 1 unit and outputs 3. Okay. So outputs 3, 5. So we're gonna be a
Ruptura
little
is in
starved.
its stable stage. The climate of Arcadia is returning to normal.
We'll be a little bit starved. Or 120 per minute, and we're doing, what is that? 3, so that's gonna be an output of 20 per minute, singular times 360. So we're actually way overfeeding. This is gonna backlog itself here. Uh, Realistically, we'd be running, what is that, 2 at a time and meeting capacity just barely? Yeah, so we're over capacity by about 33% here, which is not ideal. Easy way to bypass that would be to throw this on the side here and go, but we aren't too worried about that as of right now. We'll cross that bridge when we get there with a little bit of future development, but we will make a note on the current 5-to-1. All right, nope, made. On our 5-to-2-to-1, we exceed capacity on our 3-to-1 by about 33%. Now, that being said, we do need a way to pull material in on the far side. So we need ceramics, which we can't quite unlock until we get some calcium powder. Which, lo and behold,
gotcha.
there we go.
Arcadia 7 has finished regenerating.
We need 6 of the calcite plates. We'll just come back. Give it some time to manufacture. Can we drop a single extendable walkway, or will it be too long? It'd be nice not to have to be jumping all the time. Building is too long, okay. Yeah. So let's go ahead and add a plate here. Yeah, I figured. Let's go ahead. In the meantime, we'll just do it for ease. Oh man, it's still too long. Okay. Let's get a supported platform. Alright, perfect. And we should have a 12 by 12 up here, or well, 2 by 12 on our out feeds. Just double checking because that will give us our 2, 3, 4. Nope, I was running 5, so I need to bump that up to 12 total so that we can have our 60 as required. And we'll get our recipes unlocked. So there we go, we got ceramics, and we got just short of glass. We just need helium. And one of the things I need to do on the logistics here is in order to more easily pull items in for these one-off requests for recipes, I need to have a storage facility that is over at the main base that this whole system is connected to. That'll save us a lot of effort long term, while also providing a lot of utility as we work towards more of the stuff in game. So, we got ceramics. Let's see what ceramics takes for manufacture. You're looking at wolfram powder and calcite sheets. Alright, so that is going to be a secondary facility, or probably a third at this point, built on the opposite side of our discrete factory over here. Because we'll be looking to send materials across the line here to be processed and then able to be shipped indirect. Let's see, thinking about it, what are we looking at there? Because we've got our system, if we want to minimize our handling, I mean, we won't be able to do much in regard to current layouts. Our best bet is to just send straight across the system here and allow it to funnel into a bus that then can feed back into this main system. We will want to probably start it a little bit further down the line here, which does also imply that we need to get a secondary line that buses back the other way, which would make sense if we get that triple set up over here, which is something that needs to be done. So we need to get this triple set up, and then we'll be using the triple as our way to bus back and forth. So let's just send that across. So let's see if we can make use of that. So the multi-rail, by the time it hits this point, should be reducing down into the singular. That said, it doesn't really matter. So we're just looking at being able to have a standard rail junction here. So that's what that will look like. We're bringing in junctions here. So this is where it gets a little tricky in our minding, because we need to be able to pull double. Hey Drexen, thanks for the follow. Oh man, how's it going? Let's see. So if we want to do a triple here to be able to take advantage of a two-way bus, I think I know how we do that. We're gonna have to push things out a little bit. I think we can figure it out. Trick will be we have to sort our heights on directionality a bit. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. In some way, it's perceived as impressive. Just trying to figure out how we can build some more conscientious, smarter systems. And it's a fun challenge along the way there. So if we push this out, we can break out our system two ways here. Because then we can do height-based to send to, what would that be, our west? Oh man, it bothers me that we don't have a compass here. Oh no, so we need north-south lines here. Yes, I am, as of the beginning of this year. So it was a nice little start to the year there.
I need water.
All right, let's get this guy hydrated. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a challenge there. The pass it on builds over with the community with DC1 and all of them really helped out a lot. And then just moving towards, just trying to keep the vibes going, teaching, answering questions where I can for folks, and just kind of helping push the ideology for Lean and Six Sigma for folks. It's good stuff, and these games work great for helping to teach people. Let's go get some hydro bulbs. And while we're here, I mean, it's a nice goal. It's kind of a
Come here.
pick this up. We'll see where we get to. I mean, if we start getting folks along the way who pick up interest and that's where we get, that'd be great. But I mean, in the meantime, we're just vibing, we're building factories and, you know, trying to help people learn a little bit on the way. And, you know, learning bit by bit myself on the streaming side and everything else there. Long and short, streaming actually started for me because I always thought it'd be fun to make content focused on simulation games. Just because, I mean, I've known about Factorio, Satisfactory for a very long time, and I work as a process engineer in continuous improvement. And what's really cool about this is a lot of people who play these games inherently have learned a lot of the things that I aim to teach people in work environments, but people who play these learn them themselves. And yes, I am always open to suggestions. Kind of the whole ethos of what I try and do of growing and developing. Alright, hydro bulbs, perfect. So we got one.
Come here. That's a snack.
Alright, that gets us hydro bulbs. Because dang it, we gotta keep the character alive. Most frustrating aspect of keeping things going. But yeah, if we break into heights for the north-south, that'll give us a clean distribution network that allows us to pull pretty easily and not have to go too heavy on our inventories. Yeah, I'm always down to talk to people and, you know, trying to be a part of and building community with folks. So I'll definitely check them out. Let's go ahead, hit that. And copy names, because that memory doesn't work right. Yeah, absolutely. Best way is always Discord or otherwise, and can message me directly, and that way things don't get lost in the mire that is.
I need water.
Yes. So yeah, if we do a height-based breakout here, that will get a split in between, and we should be able to get a distribution network set up that runs somewhat cleanly. Let's connect these two, though. Let me go ahead and pull that for you. I just needed to make that one of my little hotkeys for the Discord user. There we go. All right, Discord name sent over to you. All right, so we'll get this broken out after some hydro bulbs. That is right over here. Do we not have that recipe available? I swear I unlocked it. We have not, okay.
Tasty.
And we'll hit one of these guys. Perfect. And let's go ahead. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. So, forged items. And we'll keep that on, but we'll send our upgrades over here. Got consumables, helium, calcium. Absolutely. Feel free to jump on and have the Discord as well. Yeah, but happy to always connect with people and build the network. Now we'll just throw this in our fabricated. All right, we are looking good. So, we'll want to go high and low. So let's break this out to probably off-center it. High and low. Then through that, we can connect across. That gets us across the system, and then we can bring our other line across here. And then that will let us ship back upstream to the north and give us a nice clean kind of 1, 2, 3. So we're offset by 3. And then this should be at that 1 level. Perfect. So this is our on level. We put that slightly forward of it. And then we put this one at 1, 2, 3 above. We do the same again. We'll go on level. Then 1, oh. And then 1, 2, 3. Oh. A little off. There we go. Then we'll break out again into our triplicate. And this way we can minimize how complicated we have to make the network for our initial upgrades. Which doesn't seem like a lot, but I think it'll pay off long term for us. I think the only disadvantage we'll run into is if we're pulling 2 sets of materials going both directions, we'll end up running into that 120. Excellent. Let's go ahead. All right. Duplicate this again. We're a little too far over. There we go. That keeps us moving. All right, and then we move across back over here. This system connects over the top here. And this connects on back. That should give us a nice clean 2-way with minor offset that we can recombine into a 3-way. Let's see, if we add one more space, we can get a 3-way built-in system with minimal effort, which will be good. So let's actually break this down and move it over, and then we can get our triplicate set up. Which that will be where we make things happen. And just added you back, so you should see that come on through. All right. Let's see, because we're looking at, we'll want to be probably at level 1, 2. So 1 under. And then what we can do here is, yeah, the goal actually here would not be to connect like this. It would be to, be able to come up and under. So let's rethink this a little bit. Because I want to minimize that footprint as much as possible. So let's see what we can do. So how do we add into system here in a way that allows us to continue growing? So something more like this. Let's see how that goes. Because if we were to bring this across, say direct into here, and say bring these around, that would give us the ability to add in system, but we would get blocked there unless we were to break out to here. And then what we could do at that point would be, this one would need to be higher. We'd want this high enough that we could add it in system without too much effect going through. Because then we can do the following. Or this one we'd want going the other way. So let's invert that. I just try and think it through. There we go. So if we do that, that gets us an offset, and we'd be able to, off a single set of lines, hit both directions. And even then, we could probably shrink this down a little bit further in our design process. Could we bring this in by one? Let's see what we get. So we can go ahead, bring this up and through, pull this direct through. And there we go. I think that gets us at least moderately there. I think we can bring this down a little bit and get our direct offset figured so that we don't have to go quite as high. So we do want to minimize how much of a footprint we put here. Can we get this up top without... Yes, we can. Perfect. And that leaves us a center bus to be able to either add or subtract from based on requirement. So there we go. Okay, that's a basic template there. And then we actually will want to invert. At least one of these guys need to be inverted. But this gets us at least a framework of design for how to make it happen. Let's invert this one. Inner lane coming up to the center here. All right, I think that will do it. That's how we're gonna run this then. Let's see if we can make that work. So we're looking at it being just offset. It'll be a little more tricky to run on the doubles, but we'll see what we get. All right, let's see if we can recreate that over here. We should be able to. I think we got plenty of space. So we come off center, lined up. So we run a double. Our main bus is right here. And we're one, and is it two? No, we're just a single one off. And that lets us get everything we need to convert that. And then we're looking at doing the same thing again over here, but we can simplify in the scope of we only need that, we don't need to duplicate, so we just do a 1, a secondary offset by 1. In this case, we would mirror, so we'd actually want this one off by 1. Clear. Single set. And then back into standard connection. Maybe a little more complex than necessary, but it does give us a little bit more flexibility in the bandwidth to be able to drop a extra bus line into system, and I think that's useful for us long term. Oh, camera froze. Let's fix that. Need to put some serious effort into figuring out why it does that. All right, so this interior line feeds upstream, exterior line feeds out. And we get arrows on there too to help, so that makes it easier. Building can't be placed. Okay, it doesn't like that. Why do we not like that? But we were okay with it here. Okay, so we're okay. I think that's because we need to go here. Yes, we need to invert that. So just confirm the two that are together needs to be feeding the outer edge. Which means we might run into some trickiness here. Oh no, we should be. Yeah, that gets a little tricky. Okay. Interesting. We might have to change things up a little bit to make that work. But we will figure that out. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Why are you unhappy? Interesting. Building is colliding.
Rupture activity detected. I recommend finding a safe place.
Can we double that up? What happens if we go for 2 instead of just the 1? Does that solve our problem? That does. Okay, so we have to go double there. The exterior line will feed. But that one is unhappy. Okay. Oh no, it works. Okay. All right, let's go get to the building. All right, let that run on through. All right, let that blow on past.
Rupture's core is unstable. Head to safety immediately. Warning. The planet is being incinerated.
All right, planet incineration. Let's go. And we gotta give it 1 more minute. All right, so we need more hydro bulbs. That's going to be a target for this next run so that we can get some better recipes made for sustainability. From that, we are looking at recipes, food, hydro bulb. We need more so than anything star tiers. So that's what we'll be chasing down. And that'll get us aqua fluid, which is better. But you know, yay toxicity. I didn't know we had microplastics in this game.
Planetary temperature within acceptable parameters.
There we go. So that gets us what we need here. It'll get us decent balance in system. Although we don't want to be feeding direct here. We want to be able to cross feed across the lines, but we'll deal with that at the end. That cross feed is going to look like probably that 3-to-1. We'll see. We'll deal with that once we finish. Now I need the cross feed. Let's go ahead, do that cross feed right now, so we aren't trying to add it in at the end, because this is the part that actually really critically matters. This gets us sinking in. There we are. But then the question becomes, that blocks us on, no, if we're, that's only if we're using a singular bus. We'll need to upgrade bus systems, but we're only looking to feed 2 customers at a time right now, so, I mean, the singular bus system works. We can expand the bus out, as required. Because this will allow me to feed 2 customers at 60 units per minute across 2 different product types, with having cross-flow on production materials. It's a little bit of a janky solution, but it's a solution. And I mean, if it's doesn't matter if it's not pretty. If it works and it's not pretty, then you don't touch it. And if it works and it's pretty, you consider yourself to be very lucky. There we go. That is what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and double bump this guy, put it back in place where we were, just for the sake of simplicity. So we're 1, 1, 2, perfect, double bump. And then we go ahead and we sort on out. So last time we were looking at doing that here. I think we can replicate that once again. We got a nice clean fit, and then we just run through our standards. I've got to invert that. Perfect. And one more inversion. Perfect. So that gives us a nice semi-clean 2-way bus. Man, I like the way it looks the other way a bit more, but... Oh no, it's about... Yeah, no, that's symmetrical. We'll keep symmetrical. We value symmetry over anything else here. Symmetrical lines are pretty lines. Nothing I hate more than when you have 2 production lines that can easily mirror one another that are left unmirrored. Alright, so this again will go 1 on the outside and we'll mimic the system across the board. It should look fairly clean and help us out in the long term. So there we go, we got that. The bus system connects right here. Or no, we need to be 1 further. Okay. Because we need to be double for the disconnect. So let's go ahead, grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're good to grab. So we got 1, we double up. Building not stable. We got 2. We hit doubles again, and we got 3. And we were throwing that double on the interior. we'll put that there. Excuse me, interior, not exterior. Let's fix that. So this builds in that regard. That actually needs to be... Interior is up, exterior is out. So, I was right. Just had to just second guessing myself. So let's try that again. What we're looking at is interior in line at no additional height. Exterior, interior measure, triple height. Triplicate exterior, raised. So my 1 to 3 goes right here and right here. On the exterior. Perfect. Then I do a triple right there, right? Triple one off? One off triple, yep. I do not trust myself. Yep, okay. Triple off the inside. Then we break this guy out and over by 1. So we hit here, we bring up and rotate. And then we bring one more straight through in line. There.
Rupture status stable. Arcadia status stable.
There we go. Now we can recreate that rail. So let's come over here and grab. So that's 1 across to the outside. We jump up, we jump down. And we need 1 more right here. On our triplicate. Triplicate's good. This holds. I'm thinking I should have inverted these, because if I'm peeling off... we'll see. We'll see. I got my qualms. But we might run a secondary line. We'll see. This all falls into that weird "it depends" category. Frankly... thank you for following, Lightstream. You do Star Rupture as well? Alright, so... yeah, let's invert this. Because I want the exterior to be the feed, and then we can peel off on the interior here. And then if we need to, we can maybe drop one more. Let's see if we can drop one in here. I'm curious, because if we can drop a center here and be able to do a pass-through, that's... oh man, we're just shy on that. If we're 2 here, I'm wondering... so, I mean, we aren't ever going to expedite more than one item up the lane here. So as long as we end up feeding back on that outside, but we will need to pull to the other side. So let's consider this side the exterior, this inside, and then we have a secondary exterior over here. And if we're going to be building a secondary factory out in the void over here to do our secondary processing, we're going to require that we can feed back into this system. Feeding back in is going to be easier, but peeling off is going to be the tricky part. That said... question becomes, where do we want to peel off from? How do we want to peel off from? We can peel off at the intermediaries here and do a kind of exchange of goods, which would also give us the ability to pull from here across. Which, if we pull from here across, we would be able to then send raw material in. I know, yeah. Potentially. We'll see. I don't know if they're full-on bots or what have you, but we'll see. We'll see what connections are made. I mean, got the Pokemon community game going, though. I've had fun with that, and I'm way too much of a nerd. Let's just clear that out. How you doing, Sandy? Yeah, let's invert that. I'm not going to be happy with it if I don't invert it. Inversion is the better path to go. I mean, the whole big thing for me is I'm not necessarily set on the idea of trying to make a big thing out of this. It's the, if we build community and connections, it's nice. If not, oh well. In either case, I'm not too worried. You know, I tend to, dude, I've dealt with so much stuff. It's like, anything. You can get lucky sometimes. You'd be surprised some of the random ass people I've met over the years. Hell, my mentor, amazing dude, consultant for years. Just happened to meet him on a job site, and now I just get to call him up and have a chat with him about lean and everything else, which is kind of sweet. I mean, I won't complain though. Gets you the free followers, if nothing else. And that helps with the algorithm. Yeah, it's the whole thing. Like, you know, give the universe a chance every now and then. Worst case scenario, I just put a little bit of time into someone who might not stick around. But hey, it'll be what it'll be. Alright, I think this bus is going to be what does it. It's way overkill for what's actually necessary, but hey, it at least builds a framework to work from later. Yeah, that's what we like. Yeah, the weirdest thing is the guy who's become a mentor to me and has helped me learn a ton of wild stuff that I would have never really thought to even think about. The reason he got talking with me is because oh, I don't think I have it in here right now, but I had Deming's, Dr. W. Edward Deming's book, Out of the Crisis, on my bookshelf at work that I had, because I generally keep a small little quality library that people are welcome to borrow from. Hey, buddy, you're going the wrong way. Think about your stuff, Michael. But, you know, give people a chance, and worst case scenario, you know, you live and you learn. You just don't give away your social security, credit card info, anything like that. There we go. That's what we want. Exterior line here. I mean, if somebody wants to steal my identity at this point, like, looking for work for 7 months and unemployment ended and everything else, like, if you want to steal my identity, have fun. You might actually do me a favor. Like, I don't want to be me right now. If someone else wants to be me, you know, have at it. And with this being a newer co-op game, I wouldn't be surprised if people are kind of going around trying to find people to jump in with. There we go. What do you mean building can't be placed? Oh, because I have the old railing there. Hold on. Hey, Applin. I'll have to discontinue Oh yeah, no, this is gonna be great for larger level co-op. Like, I'm definitely hoping to try and find some folks to jump into it with, because I mean, the exploration factor is great, but like, you definitely need someone who's gonna be your nerd who sticks around the factory and works on expansion while people go out and get some of the other required materials on the in-betweens. Yeah, that's what we want. That's looking good. Nice clean bus. with the Center for Expedite, so we'll see how we want to build out that expedite system. Yeah, it helps if I go around. That's why they make me wear the helmet. I mean, in a game like this, my immediate thought process would go to, like, just general responsibilities. I mean, there are resources that are going to be required, so it'd almost end up like not quite a hunter-gatherer type system, but one where you have someone whose goal is going to be focusing on developing resources for the colony so that people can survive. Because
I'm too hungry to think.
oh, wrong way. If you have someone like me who's at a factory building away, we're going to be sitting here and forgetting to do food, right? So you need to be able to have someone out in facility trying to help keep people like me alive as we're going through and building the factory out. That gets us better. Because otherwise, like any old engineer, if we sit for too long and too focused, we're going to forget to take care of ourselves and the Tamagotchi dies. Yeah, that's what we want. Perfect. And in real life, the Tamagotchi is just the engineer at their desk who hasn't taken their lunch all day and just completely forgot about it. I built this one backwards. Let's fix that. There we go. Bring this guy across. And back through. Yeah, no, I grew up with them. Man, there's still one floating around in my father's office back in Arizona. You know, somewhere where the battery was supposed to be changed and it just never did. So somewhere there's a dead Tamagotchi sitting on a desk in Arizona. Poor thing. Then we double. We have the hit. We'll clear this out. No, the era of Tamagotchis and Furbies. Oh, but that's the Mrs. Collins saying she's on her way home. So I actually have to dip so I can see about what we're doing for dinner. So thanks for jumping in, but I gotta roll because I'm running a bit later than I was planning to. So catch you later. Send a link over on Discord for the RAM discussion we were having. Check that out. Catch you later.